Type message, edit blank. Form 1, edit real multi-line version. Menu, edit blank. Form 1, edit real multi-line version 2.04. Connect button. FSF dialog register, no yes button, no space. And Form 1, connected button.
Hello everybody.
Restraint chat row 1 column 1. Form 1 row 1. Restraint odds 27 1 3. Form 1 row 1 column 2. Restraint chat row 1 column 1. Restraint odds 27 1 3 64.
Welcome to another stream, as usual. I'm just going to check that we're live on my phone and just check that the chat is working. You can never trust these things. We are live, that's always a good start. And you do have audio, which is also a plus. Send a test.
Blind flight simmer.
Yes.
Test.
Very good. Okay.
So here
we are in Brussels, in the good old Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, and we're taking it up to Edinburgh. There's two vatsim events, there's a Brussels Santa Claus event, or something, I think, and there's some kind of Scottish
Marshall Fairbrother
event.
It's live.
But I haven't really read into them, I just saw them, so that's what we're doing.
7 degrees. 175 knots, just 0 knots.
Okay, pretty standard. We do both these airports quite a bit, you know, we know how they both work, so it shouldn't be anything major.
Odds 27 1 3 Form 1 row 1 column 3.
It'll be a nice little evening
Form 1, connected button.
flight.
Space, press. VCHA, space, press. Lucky mark register, lucky mark register.
And yeah.
Door 1 open.
Open
Good evening, Captain.
the aircraft.
Set.
On 1, 142.80.
Was
No smoking sign on.
not what I intended, but okay. And we will get it to set IRS, which is... We are of course on vatsim.
CDU message displayed. Enter IRS position.
S.
Although there doesn't seem to be anyone around. And it is also raining, as you can hear from sim sounds as well. So there we go.
CDU message cleared.
IRS line.
Hope you've all had a good Christmas
Program
period, going into the new year of course. We've had a nice Christmas with family and food, and yeah, you know, today's Boxing Day, so it's kind of just a lazy day as well, and you just sort of
Form 1 row 1 column VCH.
see what happens, and you know, now everything's calmed down, I figured we would just do an evening flight.
Many PMDG, many PMDG 737 CD.
Okay.
Form 1 row 1. Many PMDG like 1, like 2, like 3 PM 4, like 5 FS action trader.
I don't know why I'm going down the menu. I don't really know what if you can't really tell, I don't really know what I'm doing. We haven't had much sleep.
On 3 round. 2 on round 1. Less fuel services.
Right, fuel. How much
Form
fuel
1
do
row
we
1 odds 27
need?
1 FS row 1 row 1 column 2. Lucky row 1 column 5
I don't know why we have the tab open. I don't know why my music
Form 1 row
tab
VCH. Lucky mark odds 27 FS row 1 row 1 column 6 1 row column active start 3D FS real time possibly comes dash slash channel chat team 5 5
Anyway, here's Simbury. That's the tab I actually wanted.
Level 6 hours. Download the graph FS was OFP line. BDI flight now 2D aircraft. V7 board. EBBR office. EGPO. EGP cruise. FL3. FL360.
Okay, 360 cruise for a 1 hour 26 flight. That sounds
Block fuel.
normal.
17,700 pounds.
And yeah, okay, 17.7.
Form 1 row 1 column 2. VCX button. Button. Summary fuel PMDG 700 real refresh button. Clear edit blank. 1 7 7 0 0.
And the zero fuel weight.
Form 1 R button. Payload summary extra fuel 0 pounds. ZFW 130,764 pounds.
130.
Form 1 row 1 column 2. Payload PMDG 737 CD 1 column 3. Payload PMDG 7 button. RTT button plus R. Inlet button button. Edit blank. 1 3 0.
Decimal 7.
Clear refresh edit. First class G1, economy 2, FWD part 2, 143/148, 29.4%, 130.7, FW3, 5,595, 83%.
83. Right. To go to our pause in it, so at Brussels International, at stand 134.
3, 2, EBBR
I don't really know whether that is realistic, but we're on default scenery, so you know, it is what it is.
Nightbed. Donations are not necessary.
Yeah, so we
but
have
if you would
our
like to
plan
support
already,
the stream in any way, visit https://www.paypal.me/chipalots.
CDU message displayed.
Yeah.
Not in database.
Thanks.
CDU message
Yeah,
cleared.
TFM didn't clear. EGPH.
EBBR
EGPH. And let's check.
Runway
There we
LT
go,
plan.
that's in.
Execute
And we'll execute. don't bother with any of the rest of this, nobody really cares.
Right,
Right, we should probably just take a look at what's going on here. We do have an ATIS, which is always nice. Oh. Although it doesn't seem to be working.
18050. Thanks very much. Beeline 5 Takeoff.
We can hear delivery, so that's vatsim voice ATIS, which is not working. Again.
And
Oscar Garcia, Fox Alpha for delivery.
Just whack you down to like the lowest volume so we can still hear it. For now, anyway, until we're ready to get okay, information Juliet. They've actually put the frequencies in, that's new. So 25 riders what we'll be taking for departure. Position level 55. Light rain and drizzle clouds at 900 feet. Yeah, that'll make sense. Blah blah blah. Oh, temporary visibility 3500 meters. Yeah, that isn't the best weather. Anyway. So, it's going to be the Denu 7, done at 7 November, I guess. Yeah, Brussels departure. We will go down here. 25 right. It's going to be the 7 Charlie. What a surprise, we gave us the wrong runway. No transition, of course. Init ref. So cruise was 360. Put that in. In terms of reserve, what is it giving us? So 1400 on the 15 min reserve. Wherever that is, I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, let's just call it something like, I don't know, let's just call it like 8. Is actually no, I don't think you have to put the whole reserve in, hold on. I mean, final reserve is 4.5, let's just put 5, because I know if we put all of that reserve in, it's going to keep telling me we're using reserve fuel, whereas, you know, if you're landing with 8,000 to 10,000 pounds of fuel, whatever, that's perfectly fine.
CDU message displayed.
Oh, I hate
4.
this. Why does
CDU
TFM
message
not clear? Clear, clear, clear. How many times do you have to press clear? Okay. 4 is fine. Cost index, we'll just go as 20. So let's check this. Of course it puts 420. I did not type that. I don't know why it does that. It's another bug, either with the aircraft or TFM. Hi, yeah, okay, you're back. 5500 will also update. Okay. That's my EBBR runway 25 right left. I mean, it's going to be long. We know we can So I was using Torque Pro, but it had a memory leak yesterday and almost ate up all of our RAM. So I stopped using it. That's a bug that's been around for ages. Well, they're struggling, I think, to isolate it. What was I looking for? Flight tool. EBBR. Bring it up in the database. 25 right, so heading of 245 degrees, yeah, and it's almost 12,000 feet. So we can really derate the hell out of this. Okay. And just for reference, set heading 245.
Heading 245.
Okay. Yeah, you're all fine. Whoops, I didn't actually execute that, that's my bad. We will execute you now and go back. Okay. Yeah, we can even do it. We'll just do TO1 just to be sure. Keep that a bit of extra performance. But it's a really nice long runway, so we're not worried about this at all. 5 for the flaps. We'll put our CG in there. So we end up with 140, 141, 149. Okay, that's perfectly fine and acceptable. 149. It won't be 36 actually, and to remind myself of that, I'm going to set that to 0 because we need to get our clearance, don't we? So let's just get you up. And what I'm going to do, before we do any of that, is just pull up a little program, or not program, text file, ground. We have tower, so I'm just going to message EBBR line GND and just dump in a message there to him. And for tower, dump in a message for him. So both of them now know our situation. If they didn't already, read the remarks and will be prepared whilst we still set up the plane. I need a notepad file, that's what I need. And clearance delivery, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, radio check.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, it's your 5x5.
Thank you very much. We are a 73 STEM 134 with Juliet clearance to Edinburgh, please.
Vision Jet 2 Delta Whiskey, you are clear for your destination via Dennis 7 Charlie departure runway 255, initial climb is flight level 60, squawk 7114, information Kilo is cleared.
Roger, we're cleared to Edinburgh, Dennet 6 Charlie departure, initial 60, squawk 7114, and we'll grab the updated kilo for Vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
And Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, confirm Dennet 7 Charlie departure.
7 Charlie for that, for the Dennet departure, yeah, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, range by correct, 7 towards, report ready for push.
Report ready, 2 Delta Whiskey. Okay.
Delta, Juliet, ready for
I
push.
just suddenly stepped right on him when he was giving the clearance.
7114, 7 Juliet, squawk more Charlie, please.
I'm not sure whether he means go straight over to him, but we will see there's an S ground and a ground. One of them might be, you know, different ends of the terminal or something. We'll see how it pans out. Right, what else do we need? I don't even know what I was saying there. Actually. Did I say the 7 Charlie initially? I can't remember. 60. That's going to be. I don't know why the music tabs open. Get out of here. 6,000. What else do we need? Yes, we need to load the plan. Oops, that was a mistake. Plan, open, and load you, so that we can load in a... So, 7 Charlie, no, that's actually off both runways. Have left and right, you can do this departure. So we're heading 244, runway heading to 700 feet.
Mira 9 Juliet, still don't see you on my radar, confirming your
and looks like we maintain that right turn going up to 1700 feet.
Now I see you, Vila
307 by
97
Dennet,
Juliet, you
and
can
that's
contact
departure.
Brussels ground on
Obviously 60
frequency
is
11
our
meters,
mission,
move
no
to
way
50.
108,050, thank you very much, bye. Vila 97 Juliet.
Move this out of the way.
And Vila 97 Juliet, your squawk more Charlie,
We'll just...
Might have to join in this, right?
21700
Why are you having
Process
tech
down
problems?
202 INTC 277 degrees 53 D 277 J 257 L 05
in the INTC with you.
Oh,
Popcorn.
Requesting to change flight
373 CRK 1.0 4 INTC 257 L 065 373 395 and 297 195 374 INTC 373 CRK 1.0 373 CRK 1.0
and that all
Unit
738,
738, yes I can do that for you. Your flight level can be amended to flight level 200.
It was just taking an extremely long time to do something that I know it can do in seconds.
oh.
CDU message displayed. CRZ when uplink ready.
And cruise
Like
uplink
4.5 RT6 episode.
can be loaded.
XDP available.
CDU message cleared.
Good. Just thinking, oh, we'll do the arrival when we're in the air, be fine. Yeah, we're almost ready to go. I don't think we've...
FS Rowan Column 2. Sorry, time to pad Rowan Column, Rowan Column 4, Altitude 7, 173 Fox, Rowan Column 1, Lucky Martin Register, Lucky
We
Martin
may
Register.
as well just close up the
Door
doors
closed.
and get this thing to do the
No smoking sign off.
pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight
No smoking sign
checklist.
on.
Oxygen. Tested. Navigation, transfer, and display switches. Normal and auto. Window heat. On. Pressurization mode selector. Auto. Flight instruments. Heading set. Altitude set. Parking brake. Set. Fuel control switches. Cut off. Checklist complete.
Right, APU can begin
Left fuel pump
powering on. There's fuel pumps. Let's see, so our heading.
Heading 154.
So we want to push nose right. When we're done.
Apple lower pressure light on.
It's pretty much, yeah,
61 kilo with information kilo requesting
it's pretty
clearance
much sort of
to
southwestish, almost west. We're gonna push.
Apple lower pressure light off.
Beauty 61 kilo, you are clear to your destination. Rosie Charlie departure runway 25 right, initial climb is flight level 60, squawk 7111.
Cleared to Barcelona via the Rosie 8 Charlie departure runway 25 right, initial climb flight level 60, squawk 7111, beauty 61 kilo.
Apple general light on. Engine generator light on.
Beauty 61 kilo, is
There
the
is
correct
bus
answer.
transfer.
Push.
Startups approved,
it's all going
and
fine.
we'll report ready for the push, beauty 61 kilo, thank you.
Round power available.
Here, there you go.
S.
APU
S.
powered up and ground power has disappeared.
61594 121.950. Russell delivery. Good evening. 61594 865 hour information K. Request.
It's a
Center right fuel up on. Right forward fuel. ACTRT FS Rowan Column. Sorry, time to pad Rowan Column 1.
I wonder if information kilo.
071 EBBR EGPH and level 1 on 1.
170 degrees
Ah, it
5
plays
knots.
on the 8 is
Visibility
very
8 kilometers with a light rain and drizzle clouds. Broken at 900 feet. Scattered at 2,000 feet.
No smoking sign off.
Broken at
Before start
4,200 feet. Temperature 7.
Before start
2.6
checklist.
QNH
Light deck door.
1002 temporary. Visibility 3,500
So the
meters with a
visibility
light
is
rain and
long.
drizzle
Fuel
clouds.
176,907
feet.
pounds. Checked.
Broken at
Passenger sign.
4,200
On
feet. Confirm
MCP.
information kilo.
E214
first
Niner heading
contact.
245 altitude 6000 takeoff speeds.
Brussels National Information
B114
Kilo.
BR
2050
141
expect vectoring for
B214
simultaneous
Niner.
independent
Set
ILS.
CDU
Zero
pre-flight.
on 1.
Completed. Rudder and aileron trim.
Come here, you bastard.
Free in 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing. Completed. Anti-collision lights. On. Checklist complete.
Okay, I would say let's move this and pull this chair in a bit. Right. And then we can go and call.
EBBR 121.950. 61594. Hello. Information K is current. Clear to your destination. Unit 4C. Climb engine 060. Score 6276. Lucky Martin Register. Lucky Martin.
See how easy it is to get out of here, how busy they are on ATC. Our delivery vision 2 Delta Whiskey ready for push and start.
Vision up to the police, stand by please.
Right, standing by for him and see what is going on. Remember ground. Oh, it's two grounds, I see. Oh yeah, okay. It's north and south ground. That's what it is. That's why my message to ground didn't go through. That's fine. Tell him when we've pushed. If need be, we'll just go and contact Tower after we've pushed. Tower knows about us.
Tower on 412 radio check. Hot 412, I don't have you in my list. Sorry, but I hit you 5 by 5. And Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, you can contact Brussels on frequency 118.6. Tower on 412 radio check.
Contact 118.6. Thanks for the help and coordination there, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey. Bye bye. Okay, that's... Actually, over to Tower.
Starship 002,
So
hello, wind 17 degrees 5 knots, runway 25 left.
why we're over with him already, but I will just let him know that we are requesting a push.
Line 74 X-ray, Charlie 4.
Yeah, he's on
Line 74 X-ray, cross runway 19er, continue Echo 3, contact ground 11875, bye bye.
Cross runway 19er on Echo 3 and after ground on 11875.
Blocked, Oscar Foxtrot Alpha, contact arrival 11825.
Also arrival 18250, Oscar Foxtrot Alpha, bye bye.
The other station calling Bravo. And with 19er Golf to wind 170 degrees 5 knots, runway 25 right, clear land.
Clear land 25 right with 19er Golf.
Vision Jet 2 Delta Whiskey, Bravo.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, hello, we were just sent to you. We're actually just looking for push and start. So if we could do that and then reposition once we push and start, that would be great.
Roger, Vision Jet 2 Delta Whiskey, push and start are approved, correction, pushback approved, facing east.
Roger, push approved, facing east, and we'll call you fully ready, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey next. Okay, I think maybe he thought we were going to be fully ready, but yeah, that's probably fine. So we're actually going to face west, sorry not west, east, which is nose left, not nose right, which is interesting. But we will do that, so we'll call you, I don't care what operator we get. No, we don't want de-icing today.
At the moment. All clear for engine start when the push is complete and
although
the apron is clear.
de-icing might have been nice to do, I think we need to just get out of here. They're getting some space for us, and you know we just need to take it. So okay, let's hope GSX gives us the option to push nose left. That's what we want to do. Otherwise,
good day, Captain. We're waiting for
we
some
might have a
apron
problem.
traffic while the tuck positions, and we'll be pushing in a couple of minutes. Ensure the parking
With
brake
19er Golf, welcome to Bravo, left Bravo 7, contact ground 11875, bye bye.
Left and could you repeat the frequency please with 19er Golf?
With 19er Golf 121875.
Going to 121.875 with 19er Golf, and this go around was a bit pain. Thank you for the service, by the way.
With 19er Golf, no problem, sorry for that one.
GSX push back, push back, direction 1, nose right slash tail left, left 2, nose left slash tail right, right 3, push back forward, straight push back, minutes up, next 1 minute, 2,
left, so
tuck position and
Parking brake off.
clear behind. Command apron is
Yeah,
clear.
19er 7 to Bravo,
GSX message, 2 positions,
Start,
push back,
The push is complete.
Yeah, be honest, I do it holding short, Bravo 3 over runway
we're
25
disregarding
right.
this. standby for engine start due to icing conditions.
Line 987 Juliet looking to 173, 5 knots, runway 25 right, clear state.
Runway 25 right, clear for takeoff beyond 987 Juliet.
Number 2 star engaged.
And there goes engine 2.
Number 2 engine 1. Heading 77.
The pushback is going relatively well.
Heading 67.
Pushing is actually a little bit too far.
Heading 64. GS position, please start party brakes.
Engine 2 cut
Party
up.
brake on.
Starting engine 1.
Okay, engine 1.
GS captain, ground, we have a good engine start, unit disconnect.
Does it say where we are?
Taxiway after EBBR.
Oh, we're on taxiway
Number 2 start off.
India 3 apparently. Okay, there goes engine.
GS axle up here. Number 1 star engaged. GSX tow truck disconnected. Bypass number.
5 to spin has been removed.
Flaps 1, 2,
Number 1 engine
and 5.
Clear
GSX
left,
left is clear, right is clear.
clear right. Disconnecting now, has a good flight,
one
bye
cut
bye.
out.
Flaps 5.
All engines stable.
GSX have a good
Line 987 Juliet,
Number 1 start off.
contact arrival
Engine
on
engine radio,
8250, bye bye.
People on.
Say again for beyond 987 Juliet,
Left
frequency
one. Right
please.
tackle.
Line 987 Juliet, contact arrival 18250, bye bye.
Apple Gen 1 off bus light off. Engine generator off bus light off.
11850.
Good evening,
Bye.
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot is on stand 144 737 800. Claimants please to Edinburgh. We have Kilo on board.
No smoking sign off.
Taxi checklist. Taxi checklist. No,
No smoking sign
he's still doing his thing. He's checking the CDU or whatever. You can hear him. Oh, and he's also turned the wipers on. Obviously quite drizzly.
No smoking sign off.
Whatever. Taxi checklist.
Okay, cleared to
Taxi
Edinburgh
checklist.
via the
Thank
Dennet
you.
7
Generators.
Charlie departure.
On,
Initial
pro
will be
key.
flight level 60.
On, anti-ice.
Squawk warp
Set
7
isolation valve.
We will turn on
Auto.
taxi
Engine start
Foxtrot.
switches.
So ask him about
Continuous. Recall. Checked. Auto brakes. RTO. Flight controls.
Alright, flight control checks. Here we go.
Full left. Full right.
I just say again, Vision
Full
4
back.
Mike Foxtrot, is that
Full
correct?
forward.
And you want me to call
Rudder
for
full
caution?
left. Rudder full right. Checked. Ground equipment. Cleared. Checklist complete.
Perfect.
No smoking sign off.
Anti-ice on.
Anti-ice on.
Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff
No smoking
checklist.
And I'm going to get it to run this checklist
Flap.
just so we don't spend too
Set
much time
stabilization
set on the
trim.
runway when we're
Set. Checklist complete.
Maybe on.
with that. Okay.
We had a row 1 hold ACTRT FS row 1 hold forward with FSX no problem.
And we are ready.
Pre-flight checklist.
Aviation 2 Delta Whiskey is pushed back and now fully ready for that reposition whenever you can fit us in.
D200 EBBR
Then
Roger Tower off.
Vision Jet 2 Delta Whiskey, line of weight 25 right.
Thanks, line up on weight 25 right, Aviation 2 Delta Whiskey. Alright, that's
Contact
means
menu.
we
Flight
go.
flight flight 067 US. Flight 067 US.
Here, and yeah,
Everett FSX no
Flap.
problem.
disregard that. It always does that.
Unbossed. Sound on.
Flaps
EBBR
are
group.
fine.
Runway 25 EBBR. Lockheed Martin registered before.
There we
Okay,
go.
Lockheed Martin.
So runway guidance.
Flaps
I
5.
don't know why that's saying flaps
Flaps 5.
as well. Yeah, the flaps are definitely 5. That can go on.
Altitude
That
1.
can go
Reach
on. I don't care about that. Let me just check these flaps. I'm just going to move them. Yeah, they're perfectly fine.
Flaps 5.
Any issues with that?
Flaps 5.
Vision Jet 2 Delta Whiskey, the wind 170 degrees 5 knots, runway 25 right, clear station.
Runway 25 right, clear for takeoff, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, thanks.
Parking brake off.
Parking brake off.
Alright. No issues here.
Thrust set.
Check.
Right left
Toga. Make sure I
No smoking sign off. No smoking sign on.
turned him off, don't want him listening.
37 knots.
Speed alive.
52 knots. 66 knots.
80 knots.
80 knots.
Check.
93 knots. 107 knots. 119 knots. 131 knots.
B1, rotate.
143 knots.
D2,
CDU message displayed. Tie on 10 degrees.
Yes.
150 knots. 164 knots.
Up 1, up 2, up 3, up 4, up 5, 6, up 7,
Now
up 8.
the anti-ice is on.
positive rate, gear up.
Ooh, it's
110
heavy.
knots.
Heavy delivery.
Landing gear up.
Walker 232 on the islet for 25 right.
Yeah, there's a walker.
Walker
Then I'll push that
232
line.
Brussels Tower, hello, the wind 170 degrees 5 knots,
VNAV,
runway
LDAV,
25 right,
autopilot,
Clear.
VNAV on, command A on,
Clear to land,
LDAV on.
25 right. Walker 232.
Nice. Let's shush.
Vision Jet 2 Delta Whiskey, contact arrival 18250, bye-bye.
118-250, thanks for getting us out and a great service as always. Vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
FS will be at Rowan 3, pilot, tap control, COM, 1, space, 118, dot 2, fast 0, on 1, 118.
Any chance we can climb level 70?
4 star checklist.
Lucky by FS will be ECTR 280.
Check
ECTR
this.
277 degrees 5.6 and 1, D2,
Way.
heading 251.
Yeah, it's making
Heading 255.
the right turn.
172 knots indicated.
And
Flaps
we'll
5.
take flaps 2.
177 knots
Should
indicated.
be able to go flaps 1.
Flaps 2,
180 knots indicated. Flaps 2. 183 knots indicated. 187 knots indicated.
CDU message
Flap
displayed.
1.
Tie on 10 degrees.
Shut up, CDU message.
flaps 1,
3065 feet ASL.
Arrival,
Flaps
hello,
1.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, 3100 for 6, and Dennett 7 Charlie off of 25 right. Flaps
Vision
up.
2 Delta Whiskey Brussels departure identified 3200 feet, climb fly level 70.
flaps up.
70 Vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
No smoking sign off.
Set altitude,
CG
7000.
191 turn left
Zero.
heading
Altitude 7000.
7000.
descend
No smoking sign on.
4000
Vision
QNH
No smoking sign off.
After takeoff checklist.
Is ready.
After
Turn
takeoff
left
checklist.
130 and descend to
Engine
4,000 feet,
On
QNH
pass.
1002,
Auto.
191.
Landing gear,
Sure we're all
up
set.
and off,
183 knots
flaps,
indicated.
up, no lights,
4,000 feet,
checklist
277 degrees
complete.
4.0 AM. ACTR 2
301
Oh,
heavy,
now.
after
285.
Flora,
Yeah,
descend to
looks like it's doing
3000,
its
check
job.
4000 feet, QNH 1002.
Under tower 118.6. Merry Christmas to you and
CDU message clear.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, contact control 131.1.
5,000 feet.
1311, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, happy holidays, bye.
Bye-bye.
At Rowan 2, tap control, COM,
That
1,
was a quick
space, 131.1, on 1.
sector or whatever in his airspace.
5,548 feet ASL.
Transition altitude.
Brussels Tower, good evening, Vision.
Standard.
Jetting
One,
from
two, three,
flight level 1, high,
ACTR
control level
300 degrees 1 and 300 slash colon, space, DENUT. 300 degrees 1 and
Now inbound
Will
Dennett.
be repositioned.
6,427 feet ASL.
Control, hello, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey will be shortly leveling 70 inbound
Merchant flight is 0.7 miles,
Dennett.
291 degrees.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, Brussels, Center, identifying flight behind you, woman.
I say that again, Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot.
Sorry, just repeat, was that flight level 110?
May I call you back in 1 minute?
Roger.
Oh, sorry about that, Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot.
Tyler
That's now done.
Chambliss.
Back
Should
up a little
be.
bit.
Hey
Master volume
Declan,
DFM 164. Team
I
top 5
hope
class
you
minutes.
had a great
I just heard
Christmas.
1.
22.4%, 28%, 30%.
777 mod is coming along.
Approved facing east, Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot.
Oh, interesting,
ACTR TV once.
Tyler. Yeah, we did have a good Christmas. Yeah.
Ground
258
full
knots
cockpit. Ready for pushback.
Skyline K3, turn right by 153. Blocks, blinker 3. Skyline K3, turn right by 153.
Yeah, we had a nice Christmas with family and food and whatever.
Yes,
I
again,
guess
sorry,
busy, that's
spelling
fine.
it in.
70.
No
Skyline
stuff.
K3, fly heading 160.
Start engines.
Heading 160, Skyline K3. Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, climb fly level 25.
Flight level 250, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
No smoking sign off.
Set flight level
250.
250.
Flight level 250.
25,000. No smoking sign. The pilot Lockheed Martin registered registered and Mike on.
Booster Control, good evening, Sierra India Kilo 17, leaving to NR0 inbound Woody.
Do you use the PMDG
Scanning
one much?
17 Brussels, hello, identify.
No, I don't use the PMDG one. I either use GSX
150
or
Lampo,
if
Scanning
GSX
17.
fails, which it sometimes does, for whatever reason, I use FSFO's pushback. Which really, FSFO's pushback just interfaces with the default pushback.
April 1429 Brussels, hello, identify. Level 35,
I hope you had an amazing Christmas.
Hey Shane, welcome to stream. Yeah, same to you. Yeah, we had a nice Christmas.
Runway for the landing in New
Forget what day it is when it all merges into one. You know, there's not much to do, and everyone's at home, and it's sort of, you know, what's going on tomorrow, you know. But today's Boxing Day.
Contact the
That much.
118.
Yeah, it's been nice. Been nice for sure.
Lufthansa 472 after Kerky, proceed Bruno Bravo, uniform November.
In a couple of minutes.
Lufthansa 472, say again. Lufthansa 472 after Kerky, directly Bruno Bravo, uniform November.
Where?
It's in the manual, Tyler. There's some commands you can say to it. So I think you
Lufthansa
say
472, direct to Bravo, uniform November.
I forget. Is it ground
AFM
flight
after
deck?
Kerky, the first flight to Kerky and
And then
after
you
Kerky.
can say start pushback.
Roger, Lufthansa 472,
And, you
first
know,
to
there's this,
Kerky
like,
and after that
TTS
direct Bravo, uniform
guy
November.
who will, you know,
Skyline K3, contact
narrate
the
the
Rhine,
situation, and
118.25.
he'll tell you when to release brakes, and then you can tell him to
118.25
push left or right.
ciao.
Yeah, it's quite basic, but as a last resort, it's quite a good thing, you know, just in case sometimes GSX crashes, or sometimes it just, you know, it does something stupid, like say, oh, this stand is too big for your, oh sorry, this aircraft is too big for this stand, ground services are not available, you know,
I
it's
can't
like,
for Frankfurt.
oh, well, we're in a heavy aircraft on a heavy stand, so why is it
Stick
not
there
available?
2017.
Something like that, but yeah.
I'm learning the PMDG
And just confirm
myself.
you're inbound to Nice
Having
now?
to use an Xbox controller as the flight stick I want is still out of stock. My GSX refuses to play
you were
ball.
Yankee Hotel
I can't
defense
even
son of
get the
late.
menu up.
Oh,
Tyler
yeah,
Chambliss.
GSX will be a
Does it
pain.
auto stop?
Yeah, it also stops, Tyler. I haven't found it to be the best, to be honest. It doesn't seem to push you as far as GSX, and sometimes it seems to, like, instead of actually pushing you back, it kind of just pushes you to the side. Like it kind of, it's like it's attached to the wing and it just drags the plane to the side, you know? Because like you'll check it and you'll still, TFM still thinks you're at the gate, although your heading's changed. It's just kind of grabbed you and spun you, instead of actually pushing you kind of back at the same time. So, but yeah, it does the job. Yeah, GSX though, Shane, it's a very issue prone product, I find. It has lots of hiccups, so, you know. And like, you know, new simmers, I just think, oh, where are you going to spend more money on GSX?
Keystroke control plus
Lufthansa
F12.
472, continue descent,
Tyler
flight level
Chambliss.
80,
And nothing wrong with using an Xbox controller as a
Continue
stick.
descent to flight level
I
80
did it for
and
the
speed
longest
240
time.
knots, Lufthansa
Yeah, an
472.
Xbox controller will do just
Yeah,
fine.
for Yankee Hotel,
I mean,
contact the
obviously,
Rhine,
the feeling of
118.25.
having a joystick and stuff is nicer, but, you know, in terms of functionality, it'll work just fine.
9 Alpha, direct to Coxie, clear Coxie, 7 Alpha, Rhine, flight back runway to 5.
I'm not surprised they're out of stock. I mean, yeah, it's Christmas time, and I know the Quizmaster, if that's the one you're looking at, I've had some sort of distribution issues.
Okay, we're reporting back to you, but not number.
Brussels Control, Airbus 245, would you have 530?
About 6245,
Yeah, good luck with them in the PMDG. It's a great aircraft. You can learn it really great.
I had 99% of the CDU program but failed and couldn't remember how to get my speeds posted.
I've left Airbus 245.
So you say you
And at
couldn't
about
get your speeds
6245,
posted?
direct to Coxie.
Direct to Coxie, Airbus.
As in, like,
Tyler
it wouldn't
Chambliss.
calculate them, or...
And as for GSX, I never bothered to install it on my new PC when I got it.
Lufthansa 472, report speed to Rhine, 118.
Yeah, honestly, I think sometimes
contact
GSX,
118,
like, I have it installed now, so
Lufthansa
I've left it, but
472,
it's
thank you for the
more
good
trouble
service,
than it's
bye-bye.
worth. You know, you can definitely get away with just using FSFO's pushback, and that's, you know, that's kind of it.
CTR 131.100, AFR 3542, after CT1.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, verder klaar mee, om Unicom 122.
Before start checklist was recording
AFR 3542,
Unicom 122.8, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, thanks for service.
Radar, good evening, this is Kalink 454,
Unicom.
inbound Woody.
Set.
Oh, okay, Shane. So when you go through your InitRef page to your TO page or Takeoff page, and you've entered your CG and all that good stuff, are you seeing some speeds there in one right, two right, and three right? Because if so, they're your takeoff speeds and they've been calculated for you. All you need to do is just hit 1 right, 2 right, 3 right to send them to the FMC and confirm that you're happy with them. If they're not being shown there,
25 right, vision to 4
then that probably suggests there's something else wrong, like there's a bit of data missing or something that the FMC needs to calculate the speeds. But yeah, for the FMC and FSFO to know what they are, you've got to hit 1 right, 2 right, 3 right. Right, so we're climbing now, set flight level 360.
Tyler Chambliss.
Flight level 360.
How does the BMDG-1 work?
There we go.
In my last flight, the sim locked up right as I got the glide. Had to disconnect
25
from
right, clear for
vatsim.
takeoff, vision 4 mate.
Oh dear, that's not good.
And,
but yeah, I'm not sure how the
forget,
PMDG one works. I think that uses the sim's default pushback as well. I mean, P2D does come with a pushback, it's Shift P, but it just these things just like interface with it. I'm not sure if PMDG's is custom made, but I've never used it, to be honest. The ones I have are fine. Just GSX usually does a good job, and then just having FSFO as a kind of backup. This is enough. I mean, there's certainly no requirement to do pushback. You can just start on stand. Absolute worst case, if all else fails, I'll just start on stand and go to the runway. But I just like to push back if possible, for the realism. But you know, it's not a necessity. And a lot of the things GSX does, you know, like boarding, well, I can use PAC-X if I want to get passengers, and that has all the announcements.
Tyler Chambliss.
You know,
did you see my text earlier?
No, I didn't.
George Antonio
I'll have
Andre.
check.
Hello from Romania.
18250, happy holidays.
Happy
vision 4
holidays.
Mike Fox.
Oh, from Romania. Wow, that's pretty cool. Happy holidays to you as well. Hope you're having a good one with family or friends, or you know, I don't know what the situation is over there, but I really hope you've been able to meet up with people and enjoy yourself. Yeah, I mean GSX, yeah, sure, it does like the de-icing, which is cool, but really it's just a gimmick.
Again. At the moment, Active Sky is refusing to connect to P3DV5. LOL.
Oh.
I'm running latest, but it keeps chucking an error about AS Connect not being compatible with the version of P3D installed, even though I'm running latest build available.
Oh. Yes, you've got Active Sky for version 5, because I know there's lots of products. Active Sky are weird, they have a whole bunch of products. I ended up buying one called, I think it was version 4 and version 5, and I thought, oh, this is okay. Or I think someone bought it and gave me a key, I can't remember. But we thought, yeah, this will be fine, you know, we're covered for version 5. And then they pulled that product and changed it to just version 4 or version 5, separate products, and I was like, oh. So now this version, if I ever have to reinstall, won't work. Yeah, you're running version 5, that's weird, yeah. Because you kind of want that to work.
George Antonio Andre. Yeah, it's pretty cool. May I ask you about other interesting games for the blinds? The only flight simulator that I know and play is Euroflay. Also, do you know some accessible racers?
Russell's hello, Vision 4 Mike Fox.
No, unfortunately not, George. I don't really play a lot of other games. The only things I'm interested in are kind of simulations like this, or first-person shooter, just quick action games. Best racing game in terms of an audio game is Top Speed, and you know that's not really great. Yeah. Top Speed 3 you could get, but
Stick Bear
It's not that
2017.
enjoyable anymore. It's very
No,
old.
It's still V4 and V5.
Oh, it's still
It
V4
just is a
and
different
V5.
purchase.
Right, yeah, I know
Tyler
something
Chambliss.
happened, Shane, because mine no
Speaking
longer
of
would work.
PACX, I haven't been able to get it. I have Fi key, but I can't download. I have it on my old PC, but I don't have the setup anymore.
Oh yeah, Tyler, the downloads area for PackX is weird. I think there's one downloads area and then there's another area somewhere that you have to find it on. But it is weird, that website. It's not very self-explanatory.
Tyler Chambliss. For the person asking about racers, Forza Horizon 5. George Antonio Andre. So what game is this? I'm interested in flight sims.
Oh yeah, Forza Horizon 5. I've heard mixed things about that. It's not entirely, an entirely accessible game, but you can do some stuff with that.
131.1 Division 4.
What game is this? This is a simulator. This is Lockheed Martin Prepper 3D or P3D. But
Tyler
we're using a
Chambliss.
lot of add-ons.
Can you just Dropbox the setup?
I am not sure if I have it still. Maybe look for it.
Menu, edit, rating.
Oops.
Taskbar. Lock folder, start button. Search again, menu, press preview 111, taskbar.
Hold on,
Folder,
let me
recipe,
just quickly, I'll do a quick search.
PACX, PACX 1, 2, 1, PACX bridge, C, programs, PACX 1, 2, 1, 3, 0, C, users, PACX bridge, XP, PACX 2, PACX 4, PACX 4, PACX 5, PACX 6, PACX 7, PACX 8, PACX, C, programs, PACX, C, PACX, users, PACX 1, 2, 1, 2.
I don't think it's here.
Control, edit link. Folder UAV, radio 56. New tab rave, toolbar, Adele, OG, I, N, space, T, F, D, I, space, D, E, S, I, G, N, Google, Chrome, Google search, heading low, search, name, results, clickable, login, TF,
Login
W, line,
to
email address, edit name, DECLANWEBSTER44 at gmail.com, password edit, star. Line area TF user, clickable, learn, link, one service link, zero domains link, zero tickets link, zero users link, you only can software PACX active link, open link, software PACX.
Software.
Line area TF, clickable, overview, order information, sharing options, title, next heading. Content info, landmark, partner link.
So
Share options, landmark list, 2 items, 0 shopping cart link. TF user, landmark link, switch account. TF user, content info, landmark link. 1 player, TF user, content website link, previous link. Overview, clickable, heading level 3, heading level 3, overview. Heading level 3, clickable, heading level 3, order information, heading level 3, clickable. Heading level 3, clickable, tab information, tab downloads.
Yeah, so you want to go to here, I think, downloads.
The following downloads are available for your product /service. Heading level 4 PACX user guide. This document explains download. Heading level 4 PACX installer. The current stable release version.
Yeah, look here.
Heading level current stable release version PACX 1, 2,
The
1, 3,
current
0.
stable release. So you want to go to, like what I just did.
Download. Content info, landmark list.
Right there, look.
Tyler Chambliss.
Yeah.
Forza is getting better.
I think it's the second
map is still
clickable.
broken, but
It looks
at
like
least
it's
the team
unlabeled.
cares about accessibility, which is more than I can say about passable.
Yeah, there's a overview and then
Heading level 3 overview. Heading level tab information. Tab selected downloads. Tab heading level 3 clickable.
I don't know if I had to click on this clickable, but
Heading level 3 downloads.
there should be
The
tabs
following
for
downloads are available for
you
your heading level 3
here.
clickable. Heading level 3 overview. Next page.
Yeah, it's this clickable, look.
Heading level 3 clickable.
Heading clickable, click on this,
information.
and you got tab
Tab select
info, tab
Heading level 3
downloads. That's when you go to log in the TFDI and look at your services and software.
32,000 feet.
And then it should be right there.
Tab control. Edit link. Disconnect. Lockheed Martin registered. Registered before.
Yeah, Forza's okay. If I had my, like best, my top sort of games, it would be, I'd love them to make F1 way more accessible. I'd love them to make Euro Truck Sim way more accessible, and I'd love for them to make FIFA more accessible.
30,000 feet.
That would be a golden 3 of,
Next
really
waypoint.
good games.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be interested in playing new flight sims.
FIFA would be a good one.
Do you expect a banger in Eurofly 3?
Yeah, I think Eurofly 3 is going to be pretty nice. I think Eurofly players are going to love it, George. I don't think I will play it really, because I will stream it just to show it off, but I won't really be doing it much. As like I do with P3D. P3D is like a professional simulator, This kind of thing with the PMDG, this is like, real world pilots might use this to train and things. It's that good. Eurofly 3 will have some more realistic features, but nothing like
yeah,
this.
FIFA would be nice.
Oh, FIFA would be great.
Chelsea
yeah.
represent.
But I hope, like I said, I think I did in the video yesterday, I hope that I think the best I can hope for Eurofly 3 is that it will provide a bit more of a platform for people who might want to get into P3D.
Stick Bear 2017.
Rather than the arcade game it is now.
To V4 of P3D. Eurofly is a toy in comparison.
Oh yeah.
George Antonio
Right now,
Andre.
Eurofly's like an arcade
I'd
game.
like to play this game you're talking about.
You'd like to play it? Yeah, I mean, by all means, I can answer any questions you have, George. The issue with this game is you got to spend a lot of time and you got to have a pretty deep wallet. You know, this is a lot of add-ons. You know, everything you see here is pretty much an add-on.
Or how about Arma 3?
Arma 3, yeah, that'd be nice. The plane is an add-on. The weather's an add-on. First officer's an add-on. The instrumentation and FMC reading is an add-on. You know, everything's an add-on. And so when you actually buy P3D, which is $60, you don't really get much at all. So it's kind of one of them things where you got to be all in or nothing.
How much does it cost?
Let me see. Right, so if you wanted to do so $60 for the sim, how much is FSFO? Maybe is that 40, 60? No, let's say another 60, 120. PMDG 737 base pack is another 100, so 220. Let's throw in Active Sky is what? I don't know.
Stickbear
250.
$100 for PMDG.
That's 250 right there. Yeah.
$45 FSFO.
Yeah.
Tyler Chambliss.
I'd reckon.
Yeah, George.
With various things, you're looking at least $300
on flight sim over my 5 or so years.
Yeah. I'd say just to get started to a relatively okay state, like I am now flying this jet, this PMDG 737, you're probably going to need about anywhere between $250 and $300 as a start. And then after that, there are a lot more things, you know, you can buy. Like there are more planes you can buy, there are sound packs you can buy, things that you don't absolutely need, but you know, just you can sink your money into flight sim. You know, you can really flush your money down the drain with flight sim.
George Antonio Andre.
It's great, but you do spend
my God,
a lot.
Jesus.
Yeah. There you go, George. Yeah, and that's why, as much as Eurofly is a toy, I hope Eurofly 3 is something.
You can sell a house to support your habit.
You can sell a house. Yeah, literally, you need to sell a house to support flight sim. You know, over a lifetime, a small house. Yeah, and this is why Eurofly 3 hopefully is something, because it's free. And as long as Eurofly is free, it will always have a place. I can't remember, there was something else I was going to respond to.
Next waypoint, contact distance, 91 miles, bearing 179 degrees minutes, 20 seconds.
What was it?
View beach. Menu, restrain chat, row 1, restrain chat document, button. Click on message, edit, no previous heading. Click on Super 21 hours, 48 button. Super 2000, oh my God, Jesus, 21 button. George, George, I probably spent about 21 button. 21 button. Tyler, $100 for $60 for sim, for 21 button. Super 2000, how much does it cost? 21 hours, button. George, for how about 3? 21 hours, for how about 21 button. Tyler Chambliss, I'd like to play this game you're talking about.
First started,
Can't remember
I had
what
to
it
get
was.
a new system as well.
Tab control. Disconnect.
Oh yeah, and then, yeah, you're absolutely right, Marshall, that's a good point. That doesn't even count having your PC. I think that was what I was going to respond to, Shane saying it might downgrade to V4. Yeah, it depends on, if you've got a graphics card that's under 4 gigs of memory, I would go to version 4. I have one that's got 8 gigs of memory, but I'm just on version 4 because, you know, I have version 4 and I have everything set up for it, and so, you know, one day I'll go to version 5, but it's like, well, only when something forces me to. Like when PMDG say, hey, we're putting out an update and it's not going to be made available for version 4, then I'll be like, yeah, okay, we need to move to version 5. I'm a big believer in, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And simming takes a long while to get everything rigged up, and I really don't want to rip it out and say, hey, let's go to version 5 and start from scratch. So yeah. But V5 can lag quite a bit, especially if you have a potato PC or even relatively good PCs.
George
version
Antonio
5
Andre.
can lag a bit.
Are the takeoff and speeds on Eurofly realistic?
No, George, no. It feels like you're flying a plane that's on like a train track or something on Eurofly, or just like a paper plane or something. There's no flight model, there's no physics. Now Eurofly 3 will change that a little bit, but it won't come close to this. Which is understandable, right? I mean, this simulator and PMDG and all this has taken decades to develop.
Are not necessary, but if you would like to support
various
the
people have
way,
developed FSX, FS 2004, P3D, PMDG, you know, this has taken decades, right? And it's massive teams of people, and as a simmer I've sunk hundreds of dollars into this. Eurofly is one guy, you know, probably, I don't know what he codes in, C+ or something, used to be in PGT I think, or whatever, I don't know, and it's a free project. You just can't compare them, you just can't, it's impossible. I need to put out a ride.
I mean, on the
Well, Declan, unfortunately I heard a rumor that the PMDG 737 NG3 that will be released for MSFS and P3D won't support P3D4.
Yeah, we'll see about that, Tyler. Right now, the NG3 isn't even coming to 2020 until the Sobo get their shit together, so... Right now they've paused it because the Sobo aren't providing what they need. Right, information India, runway 06. Transition is 75, winds of 1 knot. Light rain, blah blah blah. QNH 997.
The Razon 7 processor's P3DV5 doesn't lag a lot. The only broken is GSX and Active Sky.
Right,
if
yeah,
I can
gotcha.
sort those out, I won't curse as much. Well.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, GSX you can get away with, but Active Sky I guess you kind of need, right? I mean, you need the weather, and it's good that it links up to the PMDG wind function.
Correction V5.
Yeah. It's good that it links up with the wind uplink thing. Yeah, the Ryzen 7 is good. Any of the more modern, any of the Ryzen, you know, 5 or Ryzen whatever 56, 5800X, those are really good with this. It's all about graphics card as well, because the issue with version 5 is that it doesn't. Version 4, if you get above a certain level, it will unload some stuff. Version 5 I think uses DX12, and it also doesn't do that. So if you run out of memory on the graphics card, then you get a lot of hanging. So, so
George Antonio Andre.
I'm gonna go here.
Sure. You're right. What's the takeoff speed of a big AI Airbus, for example?
yeah,
realistic
right
game.
here right now, the way
Perf and
right here right
neutral.
now, the way I've got everything set up, I'm probably going to keep with V4 as well for as long as I can. The
input one I think is like I mean, you know, when the time comes, the time comes. Till then.
yeah, it will be something that will be nice to have 2 gigs on this machine.
So input one echoes 26,000 at MPO, 20,000 at 250 at Esto, 7,000 at Tartan, 230 knots. I don't think there's anything, so yeah, nothing there. We'll just execute that, it'll be vectors in. Good old standard Edinburgh.
Drag REQ after
We didn't turn off anti-ice. Anti-ice off. We don't need that now.
Anti-ice off.
It's only when you're in cloud.
CDU message clear. CDU message
might be
displayed.
Cloud, I don't know.
Node of path after in rev.
Node of path after InRev.
CDU
Yeah,
message
that's
clear.
fine. That's fine. We'll sort that out. George, so what the takeoff speed of an Airbus will depend on many things, including the runway, whether it's dry, whether it's wet, what the winds are, how
Tyler
heavy the
Chambliss.
Airbus is. There isn't
Question.
just one speed.
How do you change transalt for arrival on the 73 since there's no VNAV page?
I do it in initref, and then go back to your index of the initref, and then go to perf, back to where you would program all your perf stuff, and then just change it there. There might be a better way, but that's the way import flight plan, blah blah blah, you go there. Let's just see how long this runway is, so 8200, yeah, Edinburgh's actually quite short, isn't it? We'll just go auto brake 4, flap 30, saying it's 108.90, frequency will cross-check that here. Cross-check that with Tramp.
Yeah,
Sure, that's
I see.
green.
I've asked for
An average. I mean, which Airbus are you talking about? I mean, in general, I can tell you the airliners, you know, like your average jet as an airliner will take off at anywhere between 140 to 160 knots ish. That's in knots. We do everything in knots in the real world.
I guess that's the only way.
But you know, it really depends. If you're very light, you might get it out at 130 knots. If you're very heavy, it might be 170. It really just depends. I mean, as an average, probably about 150 knots is an average if you convert that to whatever kilometers an hour. What was I doing?
EGPH group R06 course 60 OFT 135 lane 19.2 times 0 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds 0.03 108.9032.
Yeah. So yeah, course 6010.9 that checks, so that's fine. I'm just going to pull up the stands here at Edinburgh as well, so that we can get ready to reposition over to 1. Have a look. Gate 1, Gate 3, we can go
Most
for any
jets
of
take
these.
off between 140 to 180 knots average.
Yeah, it's
Same
really
for
difficult
landings.
to find an average. Yeah, something like that. That's all good, I would say. So when are we descending? 23 minutes, okay. So yeah, we're not that fast. 0.78, pretty good, cruising along. Not a great ground speed, we've actually got a bit of a headwind, I guess, but yeah. So yeah, that's our arrival pretty much briefed. A bit of a short runway, so we just need to be aware of that. I'll send a message to the tower controller or whatever and just let him know and see if we can reposition to a stand when we land. We have a little bit of time before that.
Tyler Chambliss. Probably best to use auto brake maximum.
No, we'll be fine on auto brake. Well, auto brake it has 5 options in FSFO. But yeah, it's 8,200 feet, so it's not short. You know, you can easily get a 7.3 in and out of here, but it is getting on short. You forget how short Edinburgh is sometimes. Yeah, 8,200 feet is a little bit short. But yeah, we've put it on, I think, auto brake. I think it might be maximum anyway. We've put it on position 4 in FSFO, although the 7.3 doesn't have 5 auto brake positions, but that's what we've set it to in FSFO, so we'll see. I think it goes to, it's either the second to max or max that it's going to set it to, but we'll be aware of it, and we can, we've got RAS, so if we start getting alerts, we will, you know, that we're approaching the end, we'll just take manual brakes. They actually get some pretty crazy aircraft into this airport. They actually get a 350, an A350 in
I'm
here.
such unprofessional. Like, man, the thinking in knots and feet, etc. is so weird for me.
Yeah. I think Eurofly 3 is going to do it in feet, but I don't know about the speed. I don't know whether it's going to change the speed.
I managed to get a 777 in there once, but almost overran the runway.
Yeah, it's tight. It's tight. It really is. I don't know why they don't get a longer runway, to be honest. I mean, Edinburgh's it's obviously, you know, major airport in Scotland. They do get a lot of heavy traffic. I don't really know why they don't get a longer runway. I'll extend it a bit. Maybe the location of the airport makes it impractical.
Necessary,
I don't know.
But if you would like to support the stream in any way, visit https://www.paypal.me/bipilots. George Antonio Andre. I think Eurofly is unrealistic in the way that at any mistake the plane explodes.
Yes. Yeah, that's what's called binary code. It's all zeros and ones. Is the gear up by 30 meters? No? Okay, the plane's gonna explode. What? No. No, the plane wouldn't explode. You might have extra drag and, well, yeah, I don't know why you'd leave the landing gear down, but, you know, same with the flaps. You certainly don't retract your flaps by 30 meters or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
George Antonio Andre. Like the mind of a lot of us, zeros and ones, yes and no, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why, I mean, it doesn't have a physics engine, so it's all just yes and no instead of actual physics. You know, an actual, like, mathematics. But, yeah, who knows? I mean, hopefully some of it will change.
Yeah, and if you crash hard enough, you can actually go minus.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Black box comes up.
You could go underground, it'd be like, you know, on the crash report, -5 and -6. Wow. Embedded into the ground, I guess. Alright, I'm going to go and use the bathroom. We have 15 minutes till descent, and
George
until
Antonio
things
Andre.
start to heat up.
Have you ever read flight books? Do I need to do this?
Have I ever read, what was that, sorry, George? Flight books. I haven't really, I mean, I've read a lot of tutorials, but not really. It's all just knowledge you gain by actually doing the flying in the sim, in this kind of sim anyway. But, I mean, YouTube videos are great as well. There's a lot of real-world pilots on YouTube who make educational videos. But yeah, we'll be back in a second.
Yeah, I'm just seeing, I've got the stream on, I'm just seeing how this headset's
Tyler
doing.
Chambliss. So what else did you get for Christmas? I bought Sonic Couture Moon Kits, got a new headset, and a Switch's sound library to help with the 777 mod.
Not much, mainly just cables and things that I need to keep the show running.
SB3D formula updated. Decode textual weather EDXJ. Note. Slow transition become blind. 183 knots visibility. 0.2 SM. 359 M. Plus. Overcast 123 feet temperature. 5.6 dew point. 5.6 precipitation. None reported altimeter. 998 millibars. 29.47 inches.
Back in the flight deck chair, which has the bass transducer under it, so get that nice rumble effect. It's very weird walking around the house and then getting back and sitting in the, you know, like it feels kind of like you're in a cockpit or at least a kind of an airplane seat.
Tyler Chambliss.
Um,
Hey Marshall, Did you grab Sound Toys 5 at the Black Friday sale?
Distance 100 slash 0
I
zero.
love
Got it set up,
decapitation.
have you got it set up for reclining or?
Partial reclining, yeah. Not all the way back, but yeah. Tyler Chandler says, did you get Sound Toys 5 on the Black Friday sale?
No, I did not partake in any Black Friday sales this year.
What did I get? Was it? I think it was put in the chat. Let's see. A new desk chair, which I'm obviously using now. I bought myself this bass transducer for the sim. What else? Lots of a new suit, lots of new shirts for university. You know, random things, chocolates. What else? Yeah, that's about it, I think. Probably some other bits and bobs, but I can't really think of them.
Distance 91
miles. We'll go and get some descent winds in here. No, we don't want to hit descent now, that'll be bad. Descend now, the forecast. And then request a new forecast for the descent. And then we just need to check through this arrival and make sure that there's no discounts.
Tyler Chambliss. You love them. Decapitator is a great plugin. And of course Alter Voice and Echo Voice.
Decapitator is a great plugin. Wow, that sounds interesting.
CDU message displayed.
Decapitator is some of our favourite
I feel like all the plugins I've got at the moment do the job and get me through
CDU message displayed.
most of my
Drag
sessions,
REQ
so I don't think I need it.
Drag required. After
CDU message cleared.
Okay.
CDU message displayed. Note of
fine. Apparently the speaker that we are playing the symphony has low battery, which is not the best timing, but that's fine. We can plug you in. If you lose sound for a second, guys, on the sim, don't worry too much. No, okay, you didn't lose sound. That's fine. Just plugging it in because apparently we're low battery. Right. Just put forward a bit. Should be fine.
Oh, is it plugged into the computer or is it plugged into the wall?
It's plugged into the wall. I don't. It's got a good battery, and if you overcharge it, then it will. You know, it's no good for it. So usually when it's got a great battery actually. It usually runs for like a week or so without needing to charge. So in
I also love Radiator. Great little preamp emulator.
It's a
CDU message
discount, that's why.
CDU message displayed. Drag REQ after SQ.
I know, drag is required. Stop telling me, plane. You are being very whiny. And we'll change this to just be at 4,000 just to make sure.
CDU message displayed. Drag REQ.
Show me again.
CDU message cleared.
Of course. Needy.
We already know.
I know we do, yeah. Alright, that. And approach will be 148, 30 degrees. And a white saying, where's in what you're talking about, there's no descent path after in. Of course we'll be fine. Okay. I don't see Scottish Centre. I see Edinburgh approach. And Edinburgh Tower and ground.
Scottish is fucked off.
Yeah, that's nice of them. Oh well. We'll disregard ground, we're not going to go over to him, we'll just
Next
tell
waypoint,
tower and see if we can reposition over to us.
ACTRT FS Rowan column 4, Rowan column 4. Summary column dispatch, Lucky Martin registered 3
Right, and with that we are set for the arrival.
George Antonio Andre. Hey, are there any blind communities for flight sim in Siesta? Like WhatsApp groups and so on, more than the Euroflight group?
Yeah, I think there are, well I know there are, George, but they're mainly about this simulator, P3D. Yeah, they're more about this kind of stuff. There is a Discord server as well, and a mailing list. There's a groups.io mailing list called BVI Pilots, and there's a Discord server called BVI Pilots as well. However, that Discord server has recently been taken over by some people who have nothing to do with flight sim, but anyway, we won't go there on stream.
I've been on there for... I think the last time I went on there was to retrieve an event route.
Yeah, I know several people who've recently left, but I stay on there because BVI Virtual has a channel on there, and you know I post. Surprised our channel hasn't been removed, to be honest. But yeah, it's, as long as that's there, I'll be there. But yeah, there's some interesting discussions that go on, but.
Distance 48/00645.
Right. Not long. Doesn't look like we're going to have anyone on though for our descent, so we may as well just reset our altitude.
Andre. Here, in these game there are 3 categories of towers, right? Ground, approach, and ACC.
Let's do set altitude 7,000.
Altitude 7000.
Yeah, the mailing list has always been quiet. I don't think the mailing list is really about the day-to-day stuff that usually happens in the groups, but I mean the groups have been pretty quiet as well. You know, there's not been a lot of discussion about things really, even in the groups. Right, that's set down to altitude. Like, I haven't heard from the TFM devs in ages. Since what, start of December, maybe before then. Oh yeah, so what categories? So usually on vatsim, George, you have, let's see, well if you had every controller on, which usually you don't, you might just have one, but if you had every controller on, you have clearance delivery, which is to get your flight plan, so your IFR clearance. Ground, which gives you taxi. Tower, which is for takeoffs and landings at the runways. Approach, which is obviously for handling aircraft on approach or departure, usually they cover both. And then center, which is, you know, like a larger center control for the area. There are different variations on that, and you know, sometimes you might only have a center controller. Say, you know, if you're going out of New York, you might only have a center on, and then you know you call them up for everything. You just stay with that one guy. You just call them up for your clearance, your taxi, your takeoff, etc. Let's also just go and check what's it saying for our descent speed. 261, yeah, that's rubbish. Let's go, oops, clear that up. Let's go 280, shall we?
CDU message display.
Oh,
invalid entry.
why does TFM never clear? I'm pressing clear. Yeah, we'll do 280, it'll be fine. 280, so we'll make sure we keep our speed up on the descent. No need to go super slow with 260 knots during the descent. other than that, it's been a nice smooth flight,
CDU
no
message
turbulence or
displayed.
anything.
No to path after in rev.
Oh shush, plane.
Refresh surface. Press.
CDU.
Refresh button. Reloading line 2. Distance descent. 31/0. 311. 300.
Alright, 30 miles descent. Yeah, a lot of the groups have been quiet, but yeah.
George Antonio Andre. And will you contact one of these guys for the landing now? Tyler Chambliss.
We will, George, yes.
I remember Andy saying something big was in the works for TFM for late December or early January.
Yeah, this aircraft is doing the same thing with me with its no descent path after MREV. It's just trying to be
it's
a
just
bitch.
being whiny. Didn't move much. Yeah, it depends what something big is. Depends what kind of a big update they mean or Randy means. I know there were some, features being worked on for what was it like? I don't know. I guess maybe the, they were still polishing the PMDG, but who knows? We take what we get. I mean, they did that whole survey thing, so they definitely know what the community's looking out for. Yeah, George, so we will be contacting, let's see, I think we still have, yeah, we still have approach on, so we'll contact, there's no center, so we'll just be descending at our own discretion, and then a little bit lower down, we'll contact the approach controller.
And what controller is when you're flying above the ocean?
And then we'll contact tower when we're about to land. Above the ocean, depends which ocean. Usually it's some kind of radio controller. They usually call them, so-and-so radio. For example, the Atlantic, you have Gander, which is nearest to the US, and Shanwick, which is nearest to Europe. So usually, if you were doing a very standard Atlantic crossing, you might be, if you're going from the US to Europe, you'll be with Gander radio, and then eventually you would get over to Shanwick radio. But, it depends. There's a whole bunch of different radios depending on which ocean you're crossing, and you got to make position reports to them as to where you are, unless they have electronic radar, essentially, to see where you are. 10 miles.
Approaching top of descent.
Tyler Chambliss. I rarely ever see Oceanic online unless it's an event.
Yeah.
United Kingdom, 10.7 nautical miles, 287 degrees.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see
that.
Usually, there's feeds of Gander on liveatc.net that you can listen to, which I sometimes do on oceanic crossings, but yeah, in terms of vatsim, like they're rarely on.
And when they are on, they don't tend to last very long.
Yeah, I think because it's such a big airspace, especially if you're doing position reports, they sometimes, especially in these events, they get overwhelmed very quickly with everything. And yeah, if it's radar, then sure, it's a different story. Right, and we are descending.
No smoking sign off.
Descent checklist.
Descent
No smoking sign
checklist.
off.
So we will run the descent
Pressurization.
checklist.
Set. Recall.
George Antonio Andre.
I like the
I wouldn't
like
be
Auto
the
brakes.
afraid in reality if
Set.
you are the pilot of the plane
Landing
I'm
data.
flying with.
across
Check.
the digital.
Altimeters.
Hold
Check.
on one sec,
Approach
you're
rating.
gonna-
When we did
Completed.
the
Juliet,
Oh, okay, yeah, across the ditch. That was a good event.
Reports and my fucking CDU was 12 hours off.
Oh, these dudes are
12
not
hours
allowed
and
in.
20 minutes off.
Report aircraft type on first contact, so we need to tell approach what aircraft type we are. But other than that, it all looks standard on the ATIS, nothing out of the ordinary still.
30,000 feet. Next waypoint, update, distance 18 miles, bearing 325 minutes, 28 seconds.
Yeah, the only thing I dissed about that event was the fact that they wanted position reports and
30,000
my CDU was fucked.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can't do much about that, you know. That's standard procedure to ask for position reports, so. But I mean, if I remember rightly, he just scrapped it for you, didn't he? Well, he didn't scrap it, but he gave you some time to try and figure out a manual way of calculating it.
Yeah, and I now know how to get to the time in the season should I absolutely need to reset it if needs be.
Yeah, right.
I think it's 3 across and 1 down, although I can't remember exactly.
Right.
You shouldn't need it because you've got FS real time, but my FS real time wouldn't install properly either. So my
Oh
FS
yeah,
real
I
time
don't know
wouldn't
what's
install
going on with
properly
those.
either. So
But yeah, I mean, still, I maintain that it's absolutely ridiculous that you pay $60 for a sim and it can't even keep the time. You know, you set it to a time and then it just it drifts. Absolutely, it's just one of them things that really irritates me. Same with real world weather. You pay $60 for a sim and it can't even get access to real world weather. Everything's a bloody add-on. Seriously, you literally may as well be chucking $60 down the drain. All you get is P3D, which, you know, obviously, yeah, we need it, but as a sim, comes with absolutely nothing that we're interested in anyway. It's literally just a base that all the other add-ons build on.
Next waypoint, distance 13 miles, bearing 336 minutes, 57
And
seconds.
then guess what? When V5 comes along, we've got to pay for it all over again.
gotta do it all again.
Fantastic.
30,000 feet.
Lockheed Martin. Money grabbing. At least with X-Plane, you know, if we were on X-Plane, you don't have to pay for that every time. I mean, yeah, sure, from like 10 to 11 you do, but X-Plane 11's been out for like 4 years, 5 years. And they, you know, they keep giving them updates and they don't have to pay. So like, oh no, but P3D versions, you know, every
George Antonio Andre.
1-2 years maybe.
Is the plane descending?
Yeah, we're on the descent.
22 hours. ACTR. 47,049, 301, 302, 303, 04, 205, RN6, 2.6 DPS after
What's the matter with this?
Descent
ACTR 303, ACTR 303, 8.1, into 250/L 260. 26,796 feet ASL. 339 7.5 M. 1 into 250/L 260. 302 into 250/L 200.
So I think we need to be 250 knots, which is why the plane is not particularly happy with
Speed brake arm.
Give it a speed brake. Should help it out. There we go.
S. 264 knots indicated. S.
Oops, didn't mean to press that. Went to an
260 knots
outside
indicated.
view.
Slash.
Why are you now powering up? Oh, it's also leveling out.
Control. Lock ACT and read. Selection remove. ACT 339 degrees 4.5 and 1 into 250/L 260.
I think it's going to level out 260 for a minute or two, so should help it slow down.
Nightbird. Donations are not necessary.
Next
but if
waypoint,
you would
EGPH,
like to
distance 69
support
miles,
the
bearing
stream
347
in
degrees,
any way,
10 minutes,
visit https://www.paypal.me/vipalots. George Antonio Andre. Is it accelerating? Beer.tech.
26,000 feet.
Set altitude.
It was leveling
4,000.
out there for a second.
254 knots indicated.
Now
Minus 367
it
feet
is
per minute.
I
descending
didn't
again.
say 5,000. You
ACT 338 degrees, 17.1, inbound 200 feet, /L 200.
Yeah, so we need to be
250 knots
250 knots, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm going back to the other
first.
mic for episode
45,800 feet ASL.
Oh, is it not listening on this one properly?
As for 4,000,
Tyler
it just set it to
Chambliss.
5,000.
At least MSFS is changing that culture. The only problem is we can't fly it.
Yeah,
LOL.
MSFS has other problems, but yes, one problem that MSFS doesn't have is what it comes with out of the box, which is a hell of a lot.
CDU message display.
Pretty
Drag required.
okay GA planes, and we need some speed brakes.
Pretty
Pretty okay GA planes,
Speed
real
brake
world
arm.
weather,
CDU
good
message clear.
scenery, nice sounds.
CDU message displayed. CDU message clear.
Yada,
George
yada, yada,
Antonio
yeah.
Andre. I'm so interested of how a real
I mean, it
flight
might not be
works.
all the mic's fault. I haven't really sat down and
Right, apparently we don't need to drag anymore, so
properly,
we'll track them and just needed it for 10-20 seconds.
Minus 2,080 feet per minute. Leave pilot.
Keep an
Lucky
eye on
ACT.
this, I think we're
Base
going to be
338
fine.
degrees,
Yeah,
1
we've got
inbound 200 feet,
10
/L 200.
miles to
43,708 feet ASL.
3,500 feet, and that shouldn't be too much of an issue for it, so... It's, I don't think
CDU
there's any
message displayed.
aircraft around.
Drag
Let's
required.
have a look. We'll just make a quick Unicom
New
announcement.
aircraft
We're
level.
going
0
to be
state,
on...
distance 27, private 0 state, distance 27, altitude 12,400 feet,
We're
line
going
1.
to be on approach very soon.
ACT 301, inbound 200 feet, /L 22,867 feet ASL. Leave pilot. Tap ACT.
Is this still
203,
moaning
204, 0,
on
5, 6,
strike?
driver line. Leave pilot, lucky mark, slash.
I'll give it
Speed
to
brake
them.
arm.
22,645 feet
George
ASL.
Antonio Andre.
Edinburgh traffic,
I'd be
Vision
curious
Data
of
Whiskey,
hearing someone
3 flight
explaining
level
the entire
225,
process of a flight.
descending
CDU message
impact
clear.
1 Echo
CDU message displayed.
arrival I should say,
CDU message
and
clear.
we are about to cross INREV.
262 knots indicated. ACT RT, leave pilot, tap control. Lucky ACT, edit.
I need to try
well,
getting
we've got
rid of
about
speed.
50 miles waiting.
Leave lucky mark, register, private 3, lucky, AV pilot,
Yeah, you're in
edit,
an
register,
attack
control,
that
ACT,
one.
121, 100, 100,
Okay,
on
cool.
1,
Number 6 behind.
Right, we'll go to
Okay,
a
Thank you.
and we'll retract that
November
speed.
1 Whiskey Charlie 29 check miles, runway 06, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 997 hectopascal.
I still prefer movies than
Level 108.90, course 63.
ILS is already tuned.
23, DRT 200, 002, 301, 339 degrees, 1 1, inbound 250 /L 200.
And Lufthansa 1 Whiskey Charlie speed 220 knots or greater. And 5 Whiskey Papa speed 220 knots.
like we got the
220 knots, running 5 Whiskey
James
Papa.
Bond, but I insisted if I want to watch it,
Sherman 256 vacated.
I'm faffing about trying to get streams to work that doesn't want to work.
Lots of units, recycle V, VLC media player V, 55 V, message and 56
I'll get my
Cover
vatsim
turn
private
left,
message
heading
that I
240
made.
degrees.
Tyler Chambliss.
Destination 240,
Some
running 5
update
Whiskey
8 is
Papa.
supposed
Copy.
to finally fix the narrator bugs that will be out late January.
MSG 6.
Knowing Asabo, I wouldn't count on it being
W5 6.
stable.
Text 6. Edit message control EIDW level 0 towers, level 1 EIDW level 0 round extended 47, level 1 level 0
Oh, there is no
level 1
tower
EIDW
anymore.
EGPH 121.200 EIDW level 1 level 0 round extended tap control, edit level 1 MSG text.
Runway 5 Whiskey discount.
Really?
MSG MSG space EGPH line T.
So we're just going to be on
Alpha 31 track
approach.
miles, runway 06, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 997 hectopascal.
I can't hear you in the MVD, it's
Update 8
just...
is
Seven,
just
4,000
fix
feet,
update.
QNH 997, running 5 Whiskey
Fix that
Papa.
has been here for months.
Right, so we'll just send that to him. I'm just going to turn
Festival
off
FS frame, FS FS
MVDA.
frame, FS FS frame, FS FS frame, FS FS frame, FS volume DFM, 88%, 90%,
Yeah, honestly, Tyler, I'll believe it when I see it.
ACT, ACT. Selection removed. Private EGPH, roger. Line on.
I'm sick of Microsoft and Asobo and their false promises. I don't give a shit. They can promise me anything. I couldn't care less. I don't even pay attention to it anymore. Not bothered.
See the 432 Monday Unicom 122 decimal 8.
I'm gonna. I still have. I only installed it. I don't know whether I'm gonna have issues reinstalling it from the Microsoft Store because I had issues where I think I need to get the
Private EGPH,
Xbox
please contact me
app
on
as well
121.200.
to get it to work. I should have got it off Steam, but it's stupid, so stupid.
300 degrees 1.1, ESKO 250/16,378, 19,158 feet ASL, Lockheed Mark / ACTRT1/PMDG2 at 1
Right.
1 ESKO 250/16,234
let's keep that.
234
Bravo 5 Whiskey Papa, turn right heading 270 degrees.
So we'll speed it up a little bit.
Right, heading 270 degrees, running 5 Whiskey Papa.
1 ESKO 8,779 feet ASL.
Approach hello, version 2 Delta Whiskey, level 185, just about to cross Esto, impact 1 Echo.
So 226, cleared immediate takeoff from the 06, the traffic 2.5 miles.
8,000 feet. 006.
Spirit 226, respond to me.
Yeah, I did. I've already responded, I've cleared takeoff, yeah.
Oh dear.
You're on a shit mic.
I didn't hear you. Right there, 5 Whiskey Papa, turn right, heading 280 degrees.
Right, heading 280 degrees, running 5 Whiskey Papa.
Edinburgh Friday, route for Nottingham, Papa, flight level 900, inbound time.
Your rating isn't the line, think about
Yeah, I mean,
radar
Microsoft
vectoring
promised
RS
loads
rate from 06% flight
when the radar
radar.
initially came out. They promised loads when the sim initially came out.
Flight level 050, 06, clear for me.
Well, it wouldn't update, so that's what Josh said, but it wouldn't update for us. We'd go into it, it'd say, yeah, you need to update.
Clear to land, 06,
Go to the Microsoft store, go to the Microsoft store, check for updates, and it'd say, yeah, you're on the latest version. It's a known bug. If you Google it, it's a known bug. It's utter rubbish from their Microsoft store.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, the radar vectoring RS approach from the 06% flight level 90.
Radar vectors for ILS 0690. If we didn't say we have Juliet Emerald 737. Thanks, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Okay.
Right.
No smoking sign off.
Set altitude. Yeah, to do that. Set altitude.
The 1 Whiskey Charlie, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, turn right, heading 020, cushion 030 degrees, cleared RS approach runway 06.
Yeah, it will be vectoring, which is nice. Yeah, so that was a bug with Microsoft, so I couldn't update anyway. That might be fixed now, I have no idea, but I uninstalled it.
10 knots, then right heading 330 degrees, running 5 Whiskey Papa.
I'm not flying with that. I've got so much time to spend on flight sim, and flying with that piece of junk is...
226 reported passing level, climb flight
that
level
140.
A320
A320 Neo flight that I put up on the channel was the best I ever got, and that was utter crap anyway. But that was the best flight I ever did with the
contact at the ground 121.75.
In that case, uninstall and redownload.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's fine, because that's contact ground to 121.75.
When and if they fix it.
12175, thanks very much.
Hopefully that should sort the issue.
The one Whiskey Charlie speed
But I'm not doing it
160
now,
full grade
it'll
flight
take way
until
too
4
long
DOE.
for something that is just utterly useless. The one contact we did have there left, I believe, or the one, the main point of who was supposed to be helping with this testing group, and now, yeah, we've heard nothing. I'm
Range 19, Tango Papa, fly heading 300 degrees.
They're just stringing it along, so I'll believe it when I see it.
370, range 190 on Papa.
ACTRT was 006 degrees 9.1, DRT 200/1000, 13,887 feet ASL, Lockheed Mark.
This descent going, and yeah, 230 at Tartan.
There are a lot of peeps talking there. LOL.
Yes, there are.
Ground there, 5 Whiskey Papa, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, turn right, heading 015, cleared RS approach runway 06.
Edinburgh, by the looks of it, so.
Down to altitude 3,000 feet, right heading 015, cleared RS 06, running 5 Whiskey Papa.
Even PMDG are having issues with the
speed 160 knots until 4 DME.
Getting them to respond and getting them to put what they need in for things, so if PMDG are having issues...
60 to 4, once established, running 5 Whiskey Papa.
Good luck to us. But we will see. Given time, maybe something will eventually happen. Okay, we're never going to make that 7,000 restriction, but it's vectoring as anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to put the speed brakes out.
Speed brake arm.
And I'm going to go speed 230, because that's what we need to be. But, yeah, we'll just keep this descent going. Descending nicely. It's fine.
Running 5 Whiskey Papa is established RS 06.
Roger.
Do we have the spoilers? 66. Yeah, spoilers are out.
236 knots indicated.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, leave Tartan heading 300, cushion 360 degrees.
No smoking sign off.
I'll leave Tartan heading 360 degrees, Vision 2 Delta.
BAWR.
Set heading
Check.
360.
heading 0.
CDU message clear.
ACTRT like 007 degrees 1.1, TRT 200. 007 degrees 1.0 M.
Heading select.
LNAV off, heading select on.
Heading select on, heading 326. No smoking sign on, 11,000 feet. ACT 293 19.5, 1 CI06 19.
Vision jet 2 Delta Whiskey. Turn right now, please, heading 360 degrees.
Hey, firm, turning right 360, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Seatbelt sign on, heading 319. Heading 320. Heading 325.
So what do you want
Approach,
to
good
do?
evening, Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot is 737 Juliet on board.
Passing 10,000 feet.
200 inbound to Impey. Send thereafter.
Stand by.
9,633 knots.
Commander 1 Whiskey Charlie 06, close the line, south, wind 050 degrees, 2 knots.
CDU message displayed.
So,
Reset MCP
right,
altitude.
we're going to retract the speed brakes and we're going to level out at 9,000.
Vision jet 2 Delta Whiskey, descend flight level 80, turn left, heading 180 degrees.
Descend flight level 80 and turn left heading 180, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Young's 19 Tango Papa, 25 track miles, runway 06, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 996, take it back south.
VNAV off, level change mode on.
Descend 4,000 feet, runway 192.
Young's 19 Tango Papa, QNH 996, hectopascal.
Right, I'm going to gradually turn this round to the left.
From
because we need to turn left heading 180. So if we just go heading
Vision
select.
2 Delta Whiskey, 31 track miles, runway 06, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 996 hectopascal.
4,000 feet on 996, thanks, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Vision jet 2 Delta Whiskey,
Set
roll out,
altitude,
heading 220 degrees.
Altitude 4000.
Roger, we'll roll out and turn heading 220, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Heading 308. Heading 307.
Edinburgh radar, shuttle 17 Delta with
Right.
8,296 feet ASL, MCL to 4,000 feet long range.
4,000 feet. That
Shuttle
will be on
17
level
Delta
change
Whiskey,
mode.
Glasgow ready, should be routing to Tartan, confirm.
Minus 1,160 kilometers.
No, it's taken me straight in from Escado.
Negative, that's, you need to fly the arrival properly, route direct to Tartan, Tango Alpha, Romeo, Tango November.
Transition altitude.
Good luck.
Alright, have a nice one, Tyler. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey, descend flight level 80.
Heading 244.
Anderson,
Heading 240. Heading 239. MCP heading 220 HTG south.
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, descend flight level 90, vectoring RS approach, runway 06.
Flight level 90,
Flight level 90 vectoring for ILS, runway 06, Vision 4 Mike.
Minus 1,079 feet kilometers.
Right, we're descending nicely.
Young's 19 Tango Papa, speed PT 0 knots greater.
24 miles to go, that checks.
Speed
with what he said.
220 knots, operator, runway 192.
ACTRT like 1.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, speed PT 0 knots.
ACTR.
220 knots, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Speed box. Speed at 239. Level 2.
Sky Prime on X-ray kilo with you.
220.
Standby brake, runway 5, Whiskey Papa, runway 06, clear to land, surface wind 050 degrees,
Heading
2
box
knots.
open as well.
From 06,
ACTR 293 like 1 CI06. 1 minus 387 feet, 129 knots indicated.
Sky Prime 1, X-ray Kilo Glasgow, Christian Edinburgh radar vectoring RS approach runway 06, squawk 4640.
No rush to get us
Pilot
down.
approach 06 and squawk is 4606.
Fine.
George Antonio.
Negative 4640 and descend flight level 80.
More gradual than in Eurofly.
Yeah, it is
Repeat
more
that to my
gradual,
prime.
definitely. There's a lot more talking with
Vision 2
ATC.
Delta Whiskey, turn right heading 270 degrees.
Right, 270 degrees, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Heading 220. 220 level 2.
Sky Prime 1 X Kilo, squawk 4640, descend flight level 80.
Okay, making a right turn back to heading 270.
MCP heading 270 HT.
4640 and descend at 80, thank you.
ACTR. Selection removed.
And Sky Prime 1 X Kilo, fly President heading.
Can probably take flap 1 at this point, just to help a little bit.
Hearing 1 Tango Papa, turn right heading 030 degrees, descend to altitude 3,000 feet when established on the localizer runway 06, descend on the glide.
Flat 1.
Descend 2,000 feet, right into Whiskey Hall, cleared ILS, runway 06, runway 192.
Okay, Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey, I don't know what's happening with the aircraft, can you just turn left now, heading 285.
Oh, this controller's angry.
Left 285.
Hey, Deck. I had to get off the stream because I couldn't hear the speech or anything because of that really bad vatsim controller.
Oh.
Headings 1 tank above the speed 160 knots or greater
Sound
until
like
4
I'll just come
DMing.
up here.
Speed 160
Oh,
knots
is
or
vatsim
greater
really loud?
until 4 DME.
It was a little bit. But
Yeah. It's really annoying
Shuttle 17
because
Delta Whiskey,
like
you've
my
also
speech and vatsim
gone
tied,
past your
so
cleared level. Your cleared level is flight level 80.
I can't, like if
you can
speech is
continue
quiet and
descent to
vatsim's loud,
altitude
it's
4,000 feet,
yeah.
QNH 996
This controller
hectopascal.
seems
hey, it's alright.
Down to 4,000 feet and QNH 996
on it.
Shuttle
It's
17 Delta Whiskey.
Yeah, but oh well.
How are you enjoying your new
Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey, you have 29 track miles to touchdown.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic to actually get
alien
some kind of
universe.
feeling into
Vision
the,
4 Mike Fox, fly heading 020 degrees.
020 degrees.
020 degrees.
Hey Leon, welcome. I
Take
didn't
a
get
proper turn right, heading 100 degrees to establish.
Chat's pretty quiet over vatsim.
White heading 100 for establish fluence 195.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, turn right heading 330 degrees, speed 180 knots.
3000, right 330 degrees and speed 180, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Scarp on 180 kilo, turn left heading 180 degrees.
Turn left heading 180 degrees, thanks.
Altitude is...
Scarp on 180 kilo, 26 track miles runway 06, descent to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 996 hectopascal.
the controller just loud. Yeah, he was pretty... He sounded angry about it. He yelled at a few people, basically.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, turn right heading 020 degrees.
Set heading
030 degrees,
030.
descend to altitude 3,000 feet when established on the
I
localizer
mean, I'll see
runway
the archive
06,
version
descend on the
anyway,
glider.
because when I had tuned into the stream, it was
Right
like an hour
030, maintain
5 or
2000 until
15
established
minutes.
cleared ILS 06, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey,
Yeah, I
speed
mean, he has
22
a
knots or
right to
greater.
get a little bit irritated. I mean, you know, it's a simulation, but when people aren't following basic
Negative 220 knots or greater.
220.
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, speed 220 knots and run out heading 360 degrees, descent, fly level 80.
Laps 5. Approach hold on.
220 roll out, heading 360, flight level 80, flight level 80, vision 4 Mike
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, now turn left heading
Down 7
to
99% left.
50
Down
degrees.
76%. 99% left. Down 75%. 98%
Turn
left.
left heading 650.
Turn the controller down a bit, maybe that'll help with
Really?
that. I can hear him just fine, so hopefully that'll help him.
Down
Someone think about Roger.
Sounds like a version of
Speed 192 actually Edinburgh radar.
Yeah, it sounds like a good controller, it's just, definitely
Speed 192 Roger. Could immediate takeoff from the 06 to surface wind 050 degrees T knots.
That is so cool.
Down 97%.
Vision 1 2 Delta Whiskey, speed 160 knots until 4 dB.
160 to 4, vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
10% right.
Set speed
Down 92%.
160.
10% right.
Speed 160.
Stop on 1 X-ray kilo, turn left.
How do you sync it up to your flight? Does it even know what vibration
140 to the left, scrap one.
it will give you?
Down 81%.
Shuttle 1
Yeah,
Delta Whiskey,
it's,
turn left, I think 270
It actually uses sound, basically,
Down 75%.
to
Shuttle 1 Delta Whiskey,
send
speed
the
220
vibration.
exactly.
It's kind of cool.
5% right. Down 65%.
So it's kind of like a mini speaker, but instead of moving
Vision 4
sound,
Mike
it moves like,
Foxtrot.
I guess it moves air
Down
to
55%.
kind of create the vibration.
3% right.
Cool.
Down 50%. 2% right.
Can you feel when you take off and land as
5%.
well?
Oh hell yeah! If you touch down
Down
firmly, you
5%.
can feel it.
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, 30 track miles, runway 06, descent to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 996 hectopascal.
Okay, there's the glide. Going down with it.
4,996, 30
And
miles.
hopefully that turbulence will even itself out.
During 19 tank above runway 06, close to land start to
9
05 degrees 2 knots.
I'm going to put the gear down now. It's a little bit early, but we need to be 160, and if I don't, it's going to give us that warning. So although it's a bit early, we're just going to deal with it.
And runway 5 Whiskey Papa, contact ground 121.75.
Yeah, it's not
121.75, we'll see you later,
like that.
5 fish.
Scarp on 180 kilo, descent to altitude 3,000 feet.
Maybe actually. There we go.
3,000 feet, black one.
Gear down.
Yeah, we need to maintain 160, but it's having a bit of difficulty.
Scarp on 180 kilo, speed 180 knots.
180 knots, Sky Prime 19.7.
Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey, speed 180 knots.
Shuttle 180, Shuttle 170.
Sure that sound was.
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, turn right, spin 270
Gear down.
degrees.
West,
Sky Prime 1 Kilo, turn left, heading 090 degrees from established on the low side of runway 06% on the glide.
Turn left heading 090 and establish on the
I'll take a direct
Clear 192 report your passing on level climb, flight level 140.
Remember 4 miles out.
With just past the 3001.0.
Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey, turn right, heading 090 degrees, cleared RLS approach runway 06.
090, right.
Waiting for it to say 4 and then we can reduce to our final approach speed. Which is really what we do. There we go, that's 4, we'll reduce.
No smoking sign off.
Flaps 25.
Command B.
Command B on. Flaps 30.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist.
No smoking sign on.
Engine start switches. Landing gear. Down. Flaps. Set.
153 knots indicated.
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, speed 180
brake
knots.
armed.
Sorry guys, I can see you putting messages in chat, but over the aircraft and the vatsim it's very difficult to hear.
Sky Prime 1 Kilo, speed 160 knots until 4D.
160 knots till 4D, thanks.
1000 feet.
1 repeated for you, 191.
Wipers are on. Vision 2.
He's 1 Tango Papa, contact ground 121.7.
121.7,
Yeah, so the wipers are on, it's definitely drizzly.
Push on 121.75.
1175, good up, right, bye
Set
bye.
up.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, runway 06, clear to land south and 050 degrees 2 knots.
06, clear to land, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey.
Oh, beautiful.
Turbulence has evened out finally.
Command A.
Minimums.
Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey, speed 160 knots until 4D.
100. 160 to 4D.
The latency there when you transmitted or lack thereof was great for me. I actually heard phasing because TT that's
Reverse
so
thrust.
Okay, reverse thrust, max reverse thrust because it is a short runway.
Standby. Shuttle 17 Delta Whiskey, what are you doing?
Oh dear, here we go, look, 17 Delta Whiskey is getting yelled at again.
100 knots.
101 knots.
I'm going.
Right, okay.
84 knots.
80 knots.
Okay, right, just fly your present heading.
69 knots.
Reverse idle.
4,000
60
remaining,
knots.
60
Manual
knots
braking.
slow, manual
4 knots.
braking.
Oh, never mind. Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, turn right, 020 degrees, cleared RLS approach, runway 06.
Cleared ILS approach.
Cleared ILS approach runway 06, turn right heading 020. Is it 4,000 or 3,000? Vision 4 Mike.
2 Delta Whiskey, we're going to go over the ground to get that repositioned, so thanks for great service, bye bye.
Bye bye.
George
And
Antonio
hello, it's
Andre.
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, we
Yeah,
just
you rock.
came to a stop on runway 06. Not sure if approach conveyed to you, but we actually are flying pilots, we need to reposition to a stand. Is there any particular stand in mind?
Vision 2 Delta Whiskey, Edinburgh, good evening. Unfortunately, didn't pass the message. Stand 1.
No, ATC speed, Vision 4 Mike Fox.
Roger, that's fine. We'll reposition straight over to stand 1. Thanks, Vision 2 Delta Whiskey. Okay.
Shuttle 1 Echo, you
I'm not sure if
cleared
that was on.
Go Sam 1
Even
Delta
Delta
departure.
might not be
Squawk
bad, the
52.
Very nice. Flaps 0, what was our landing report? Not bad at all.
Is he a real approach?
I'm not sure if he was a real controller in the real world, but he was very well, you know, he did a very good job. That's for sure, yeah. He was approaching, we just spoke to him. I have to check the vatsim volumes on the stream.
I wonder if some of those vatsim controllers are real controllers.
I bet so, yeah.
Yeah, they could be.
Left flight director off. CMD off, CMD off, left FD master off, right FD master on. Spoilers retracted.
GDU message display.
Navigation off,
Single
tax off.
FMC operation.
Captain 1 off, bus light off, engine generator off, bus light off.
Vision 4 Mike Foxtrot, got the localizer, just wait slow.
Navigation off, speed off. Left F fuel pump off, right F fuel pump off, right forward fuel pump off.
Very nice.
Electrical hydraulic pump off, S, electrical hydraulic pump off. Left cap off, right cap
See
off.
if we can see
S, S.
Marshall land.
S.
Delta 18 Echo,
No smoking sign off.
mission start, I think.
Wipers
Kilo
off.
Wind Echo,
Spoilers
Sunday,
retracted.
Station Start Approved, face the west, key
No smoking sign on.
996.
There we go.
Good.
Don't need those anymore.
Donations are not necessary.
We're still at
If you would like to
4,000. Yeah,
support
I'll
the
let you
stream
know
in
when we
any
get
way,
closer.
visit
Alright.
https://www.paypal.me/paypal.me/george Antonio Andre. Do you need to start the AP?
The APU, yeah, we're on the APU right now, look.
Lucky mark, S.
Well, you probably can't hear it because there's some really loud planes, but on the outside, the APU's on.
42 hours, 40 minutes, overpowering voice.
Vatsim's overpowering our voice. Yeah, Vatsim's really loud. That controller was coming through really loud for some reason.
42 hours, multiple light controllers in review. We all meters.
Oh, yeah, the controller was
Yeah, it is
angry.
loud on my end as well.
That's why I came up here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Multiple light controllers in review.
The blind pilots did better on that than the sighted pilots.
We all meters. 42 hours, he sounds like a version of UATC. We all button, 42 hours, that's probably the super product. We all button, 42 hours, where are we landing at? George Antonio Andre.
Where are we landing at? We landed at Edinburgh, George, in Scotland. Capital of Scotland, I believe.
42 hours, 48 minutes. Yeah, you're at. George Antonio Andre, 42 hours,
This guy is getting irritated. He was just like, look, I'll contact you when I need you. I don't need you at the moment. Go to Unicom.
Yeah, chill out, controller. It's Boxing Day. Have some nice food, and, you know, don't worry about it.
Hey, what's your approach? 42 hours, 50 minutes, donation, George 42 hours, do you need to start the AP?
Do you need to That's where we were. Okay, there we go. I just caught up on a few messages that I missed when it was that controller was super loud. Very nice. So what we can do now.
Speed box, row 1, column 4, RTN box, row, column 2, 4 1, row, column 3. Simmer stop on dispatch out, 4 1 box, row, column box, heading selected, lucky mark, selected, row, row, column, speed box, row, column 1, RTD was 1 side, 3 on 1 like.
Is go to our
menu, like 1, plus FMC, left right mirror. Like 1, plus FMC, left right mirror. 2, like.
George Antonio Andre.
3, plus round, 2, auto round 1, plus fuel services
You're
radar.
an awesome
The
pilot.
name is
Round 2, just IRT.
4-1, and we're going to even clear to double in physical sum 1
okay,
for
and we'll get chocks in, we'll get ground power, and then we can turn this APU off.
Ground power available.
How much fuel do we have? No, 94.
Why is Boxing Day significant?
I don't know, to be honest with you, what the thing is behind it, Leonium, but yeah, usually just like in the UK, you know, after like Christmas Day and Boxing Day kind of go together, you just spend time with family and eat some good food and that kind of thing. I don't know if Boxing Day is really a thing over there.
Preferably one of the most standard square charter aircraft.
And APU can switch off. Yeah, so now on ground power. It's going to take a few minutes to actually pull off.
Boxing Day is not something in the States.
Did first officer crash or?
Thank you very much.
I think he's okay. I think he's doing alright.
You
were shutting it down manually, and I'm like, oh, did it crash?
Oh right, yeah. You have to switch it to ground power manually. I could have just left it on APU, but it's just eating fuel, so we'll just change it to ground power. He doesn't do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Boxing Day is not a thing over in the States. Okay, wow. Yeah, Christmas to New Year's is pretty just kind of family and relaxing time. Oh, there's Marshall. Maybe that's Marshall. You here?
Landing checklist.
There goes the APU finally shutting down. I mean, I get why the controller was angry. Some people weren't following instructions, but you know. Sometimes you just gotta chill. I mean, yelling at them over the radio doesn't really do much good. It's not gonna help them or you at the end of the day. It's just gonna make them stressed. So, tell them they did something wrong by all means.
Especially if they're like new
Go
pilots
to
or
land
something.
06 Vision
Yeah.
4 Mike Foxtrots. And once we've landed, since we're a blind pilot, we're actually going to roll out and disconnect straight away because we're on default scenery.
George Antonio Andre. Is APU the engine that provides electricity?
Yes, George, yeah, it's a little engine. The APU is a tiny engine. Essentially, a little generator to provide electricity without ground power.
Oxford College has existed for more years than the Aztec Empire did.
Oh, Oxford College has been around since the year dot. Yeah, Oxford has, yeah. I did medieval history from around the year like 1300, and a lot of it involved Oxford. You know, you look through records and it's like, yeah, you know, one of the Oxford colleges, and it's like, oh wow, it's been here forever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the last I heard of like Oxford was like in like way back when. So I'm
George
like,
Antonio Andre.
it's cool that you
is it turned
are
on
in
while
that
flying?
college now,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Very old thing. Yeah, George, it's turned off while flying. You only really have the APU on
Leonian Universe.
after ground power's
The school
gone,
is
and whilst you're starting the
925
engines.
years old this year.
And then you turn it off, and then after landing, whilst you're taxiing into the stand, you turn it back on, so that when the engines go off, you won't lose all power. You'll still have the APU, and then eventually, yeah, you get ground power in. And ground power is like a cart thing, like an extra generator that the airport has. That's not actually attached to the plane. You know that the airport staff have to, or the ground staff have to connect up.
Vision of Formac
There's
Foxtrot.
Marshall.
Thanks for the ATC this evening. Happy holidays.
Squawk is set 6503 and then stand 102, vision start approved.
I think we heard him land. At least his reverse thrust anyway, I heard. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've just disconnected actually. We stopped.
Yeah, we were fine. We had like 4,000 feet to go-ish, maybe 3,000. We had more than enough runway. Still a short runway, but...
Yes.
Look at all these planes around. There is an event going on. So.
Is it alright if Sky Prime takes the stand just on his right now?
Yep, no worries, standard choice.
Thank you very much.
I think I can also hear rain as well. I guess it's been raining here too.
Airplane service 1/1 PM DG 737 CD Rowan airplanes.
Anyway.
Lucky Mark Inbox FS Rowan Speed Control 1. Speed Control 1 Rowan Control 3 Recon 0 time Bus 271 Traffic Light 1 Active 3 FS Time Recon VFS / Airplane service 1.
Where do you land anyway?
Where did we land? Edinburgh.
Airplane service Lucky Mark FS VFS FS Time Active 3 Traffic Light 1 Bus 271 Time Bus 271 Start virtual. Start recording.
Right.
Stop streaming checkbox checked.
George Antonio Andre.
Look at these final few messages.
But is it the real atmosphere from the airport?
Is it the real atmosphere from the airport?
It
It simulates the atmosphere. It simulates an airport. It does a very good job of simulating an airport. Yeah. It isn't real traffic from the real airport. We're just on this network, and anyone can fly here. And you know, everyone who you hear it is a simulator pilot sat at their computer or whatever. Flying. That none of them are actually real world flights right now, but it's multiplayer, so it's kind of like real world, lots of aircraft.
Stop streaming checkbox. See transition controls window. Stop streaming checkbox checked. Stop streaming checkbox checked.
Right. Anyway, yeah, I think we're about done here. So
George Antonio Andre.
we have another message.
Sorry if I put too many questions, but I think I haven't been on your streams for more than a year.
Oh, you haven't been on for more than a year? Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I mean, if you ever have any questions, you can well, that takes us to the usual outro, I guess. Anyone can email at blindflightsimmer44@gmail.com. I just keep it separate, and any YouTube or flight simulator questions, also just comment on videos, it's fine. But yeah, thanks all for being involved in the chat. I hope you enjoyed. I will have a quick look back at the sound and see if there's something I can do. Like I say, the issue we have is that I have two sound sources, right? So one is the aircraft, and that is just the speakers, and that's fine. But then everything else comes through the headset. So NVDA, vPilot, FSFO, so then you have to kind of jiggle those volumes, right? And I think also because I have a booster on that through my headset a little bit, the volume I hear isn't the volume you guys hear either, so it's a little bit confusing. I'll see if there's something I can do. But then you know for sure that next time we do a stream, we'll get a controller who has a very quiet mic, and someone will say, "Oh, I can't."
Oh yeah, because that always happens.
Yeah, it's great. I wish vatsim would put in an equalizer, but there you go. So, yeah, so this will archive at some point, probably pretty soon. It was a pretty short stream. I don't know when we'll be back.
George Antonio Andre.
But if we don't see you,
what's the email address
have
you've mentioned?
a nice rest of 2021. The email, George, was blindflightsimmer, spelled just like the name of the channel, 44, so 2 4s, at gmail.com. That was the email. But like I say, if you have issues, just comment on the video. On any of the videos, really, and I should pick it up. Yeah, so have a good rest of your year if I don't stream again, and we will see you for next